My name is Raymond Asimwe, and we will continue to let in people as they come in. This afternoon, we would like to discuss building a resilient tech company, and would like to get Mr. Dickson Mushabe's perspective. Maybe to take off a few minutes, I would like Mr. Dickson Mushabe to introduce himself, and then we take it from there.
All right, thank you so much. Like mentioned, I'm Dickson Mushabe, CEO and founder of Hostalite, a web and software development company started 11 years ago. Right now, not in very active management of the company, because I was able to hand it over to able young people who have trained and mentored to be able to manage it on my behalf. Sorry about that. So all my life I've done business. I've never been employed. I sat on one interview and they were giving me little money which I was earning in my businesses. As in more, they're giving me less money than what I was earning already in my businesses. That's about 11 years ago. Started business at a very young age, university. By the time I think, in my second year at university, I had already, I had the video library, a barber shop was around for hire, and another branch video library. I was selling clothes. Basically, at that age, university, I started off when I was an entrepreneur. Made lots of money. Of course, at that age, it was good money. I'm that guy who's on government sponsorship, but never entered the university hall mess to eat food. So that means even when there was free food, I chose to pay, and I chose to pay and buy food for my food. So I'm that guy who made money at a young age and lost it. Actually, all of it, I could say all of it. The other day I was calculating if I had bought maybe land, or if I had invested it somewhere. If I had invested a quarter of it, maybe I would be having a square mile of land somewhere far from the city, but at least a square mile of land. So that's putting it in, just putting it into perspective. And surprisingly, all that money, I had it. All that money I had it, but still, I cannot tell where it went. My wallet, my friends, know where it went. When you talk about the guy who eats his capital and the profit, I'm that guy. That's the guy who. So, but of course, I got a second chance to start a company, Hostalite. It's now 11 years old. No, I was not excited by the money, but now I was careful because I had lost it. So I didn't want to lose money again and lose another company again. So started Hostalite 11 years ago. Right now I'm not in active management. Hostalite right now operates or has other partners in Kenya, Zambia, Ethiopia, and Cape Town. That's how we've been able to grow. That's a brief about me. Of course, along the way, started other startups, cinnamon clubs for managing investment groups. Recently started the Dolphin Fund during COVID for a fundraising platform, which has so far raised over 10,000, actually over 11,000 US dollars for causes close to people's hearts, be it business, be it health and faith. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell. And because I made so many mistakes as I was starting in my first businesses, I put them in the book. called I'm Not Sorry for My Mistakes, My Reflections and Lessons on Money, Business, and People. Why money? Why business? Why people? I think the people who let me down are my friends. Yeah, largely. People who let me down. I had no mentor. So my story is of a young boy who falls in, who does business, falls into money, wastes all the money and starts from scratch. Builds another company. Because of mistakes he learned, now it grows and even hands it over to other people to manage it because he sets up systems. So that's me in particular. That's me.
Wow, quite an inspiring story, Dickson. When you say all that, all I keep hearing is resilience. It is something that is unusual, especially in the tech startup space. Tech is not easy. We've worked on some of these companies, and what we quickly realize is they need money, they need talent, and you've talked a lot about the talent and the people you found along the way, and the money. And a couple of them don't make it to their 5th birthday, or even they don't make it beyond 2 years. And these are the statistics that we keep seeing over and over again. I guess for you, the big elephant in the room is, when do you know that you have that idea that will survive the test of time? And is there such a thing of having an idea that will survive the test of time?
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, it's possible, and actually it's true that you can have an idea which will stand a test of time. Of course, ideas are good. Those which stay in your head remain in your head, but those which you implement are better than 1,000 which stay in your head. We have very many multi-billion companies in our heads. But how do you know that this is the idea, or this I've arrived now? Let the rubber hit the road and I set to move my company to start, and maybe I execute, and I become the next billionaire, or I become the next guy they're going to talk about in the startup world. Of course, everyone has talked about solving the problem. Yeah, you must be definitely be able to solve a problem, and actually even identifying it. If you actually, maybe this is how I identify problems. When I go to, for example, a restaurant, I'm going to give an example. Restaurant, and I reach there and I find maybe the way they served me, or I waited in a queue longer than what I should have done. Then I improvise that if I was to do this business, I would do it this way. I would improve it this way. So, in innovation does not necessarily mean coming up with something new, but improving what is there to make it the best, so that all the dissatisfied clients or other guys will come to you. But then, how do you know that it's the next big idea that it's going to move this world? There is what we call customer discovery calls. There's a startup, well, actually, Cinnamon itself, for a very long time, I was having the wrong customer. Until a time when we decided to first call our existing customers and ask them their problems. And ask them what they want us to solve for them. We realized the person we are servicing is a savings member, whereas the pain lies at the treasurer. So we are solving the problem for a wrong client. So in your customer discovery calls, yes, it's good there's a problem, but in your customer discovery calls, it's when you know what it's, and there just a few questions, and you can sample you maybe 50, and just call them, hear them out on what pain it is, or you could even send a questionnaire, a simple questionnaire to your prospective clients, and those will help you shape your business. They help you shape your startup. And maybe if you find that what you thought you are solving is what maybe 50 or 60% has told you, then you're good to go. But you might be surprised that you're assuming for a client. So it's very common, the pain that the clients have. Have they told you they are paying? You know, have the 60% of the clients told you they are paying, or you're assuming that because it's your pain as a person, it's paining the entire world or your entire clientele. So if you can get validation from a few clients of yours or a few perspectives, just by sampling, then you know my idea is great. Or maybe if it's a fresh and new idea, no one has thought about it, which I highly doubt. Maybe. But if it's a new idea, no one has ever thought about it. It's a new thing. Then maybe it's set for greatness. But still, you need to, as a startup, you need to validate it. Just a few clients to give you a feel of what their real problem is. Then you can proceed through the stages of the startup, which may be, if time allows, you can go through, but I don't think it will allow. But at least by the time you settle, you validated your clients and go to their very painful points, so that at least you know you're solving for what the client wants and not what your feelings are telling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a powerful message, Dickson. In there, you're talking about design thinking, customer-centered design, building your solution around the expectations of the customer. My thinking is that, and also from experience looking at some of these companies, that can be quite a process that takes, some time, takes some money. What would you say complicates that process? Is it the financing, or is it the talent to help with that process? And how do you navigate those challenges as you're looking to build the business at that stage?
Okay. Thank you so much. I have built a company. I would say from scratch. I would want to say from scratch. I've also built another company where I'm now trying to look for funding, and so I know both ends. But surprisingly, it looks better when you first build your company to a point where you even trust it to sell it to another person. As in, if you're looking for an investor to give you money, would you put your money in your company? If you had the opportunity and someone like you, so put yourself in the shoes of the investor. Would you, as a startup, if you're on the other side, put money in this company of yours? If you answer that question and you feel you'll be comfortable to invest in that company, and maybe one day you think it will pay you back, then sell it to an investor. Pitch your idea, as opposed to just thinking and know that maybe one day and crafting a few numbers here and there, and then you go ahead and pitch to an investor. No, I think you should first validate it yourself. If you can invest in it as a person, then go ahead to sell it to investment. So you and again, maybe to bring back to come back to your point of it's customer validation, discovery calls. It seems a tedious area. Do you need a team? Do you need a big team to work on this? No, you don't need a big team. And actually, as you're starting, of course, you need to keep your costs as minimum as possible. So for you to even start seeking for money or looking for money, have you exhausted all your innovativeness to find the information you want before you even start looking for money? Because the moment you start looking for money, it becomes also another job. It becomes another job of you need to look for the ways of convincing the investors. You need to crack the numbers. You need to. So have you exhausted all innovative ways of putting your company or making your company earn some small little money as opposed to excuse me, as opposed to spending much time looking for looking for investors or looking for investment money. Let me tell you, an investor who is going to invest in a company will even look at the smallest of your records. How did you move from step one to step three? And if I put in my money right now, how quickly would I be able to get my money back, or how quickly will you scale? So it's not a point of looking for money per se, but you from investors, but you as a person, how innovative can you survive without investor money? How innovatively can you survive without investor money? So that by the time the investor comes in, you are take off. I would love that. But of course, unfortunately, going around that people, well, some startups have going to the habit of starting just to look for investment, which I wouldn't want to encourage, for any other for any startup. Start your hustle, build, put your muscle, have innovative ways of looking looking for any earning from until then you can still convince an investor to help you scale. Now about teams and what there is if you're starting a company and you want to look for maybe a partner for finance, maybe a partner for marketing, maybe a partner for uh, for for raising funds. A partner for now, I already see 5 partners in a startup which doesn't have any money, of which you and the founders must survive. So that means you are giving little time to startup because you are surviving somewhere else. So you are 5 guys in a startup, but maybe only one is there 100%. The rest are giving a startup 5, 6%. So you will not go anywhere, and unless it becomes so much of a pain that you must be here, then the startup will not go any far, and that's among the reasons why the startups fail. So now you start answering questions like, but me, I spend 100% of my time at the company, and you guys, you come here only on Fridays or after work. Then my shareholding should be maybe 70%. So we've seen battles of startups failing or failing to agree on the shareholding of nothing. The startup is just 1 day or 2 days old, but the shareholders fail to agree on the shareholding of what? Of just the company name, because the company has no money, it's just an idea. So if you can bring in those partners strategically, and again, as you bring in a partner, be specific on what they are going to do. You could say yours is marketing, and maybe by the end of 3 years you should have brought us 100 clients. After those 3 years, we shall give you 10%. If you want to leave at 2 years, then maybe we shall give you 5% of the company. So let a partner come on board knowing that they are coming to work. You know, that they are coming to work. I would. I've seen startups. I've seen friends companies close because they fail to agree on the startup. There's a good scenario where two guys are going to start a company. Then in the night after registration, one wrote a letter to the other requesting him to be that I like you to I want myself to be the managing director of the company. As in, of what? Of what? And why would you appoint yourself managing director? That company failed because they already saw bad, okay, they already power struggles of people wanting to be MDs of nothing, of the company which has nothing. So I would definitely implore startups, don't fight over nothing. If you bring in a client, please, sorry, if you bring in a shareholder, let it be on terms that you're coming to do marketing or acquisition, and in 3 years or in 1 year, you should have brought us this number of clients at this amount, maybe worth this amount, and then we shall give you 5% after 1 year, so that it's not just dishing out shares for the for that for the sake of it. Yeah, I think that's all I can say for that's all I can say about the partners and adding and being able to harness the power of belief and not just bringing in partners just for the sake of it, but bringing them on board as serious partners who are going to add value to your company, and they should know that you're going to pay, or they're going to be paid in shares when they bring in a certain amount of value to the company.
Yeah. One of the other cultures that we have noticed, and as different from so many ecosystems, especially in Uganda and so many African countries we've done work in, we don't see a culture of respecting shares as units of value. In other countries and in other deals we worked on, we use shares to compensate people for part of the work that they do. How has your experience been with that? And more so to the point that you mentioned of, compensation. You have these 5 founders, they come in today, like you said, and then all of a sudden they realize, hey, we need to earn, and they go elsewhere to look for other jobs to survive, and then you stay there. You probably won't blame a founder because he doesn't know how best to compensate them. How has your experience been on that, and what would you propose for a person who wants to attract quality talent and be able to keep it with proper compensation?
Thank you so much. I have one scenario where this happened to me. We started the company. Their person brought money. We were supposed to buy things which we were going to hire out. That person brought money. I brought my marketing skills, my sweat. Basically, I was the guy for sweat equity, and we'd agreed that I should take 20% of the company, and I was willing. It was okay, and they take 80%. So now, and we didn't put anything on paper, we just agreed, and that is one thing I need to help or enlighten on startups. Right. Get legal advice, write and sign somewhere. Have something written down. These my friendships, he's my friend, we've been together through university, or he's my OB throughout my OB throughout. They did not work in startup business. Have something written down. Just go and keep it. I know there will be one day when you will need it. Whether it's a shareholders agreement, whether it's whatever it is, as long as it's not you and it's a company and you have other people, make sure you document each and every bit. Be it even what happens when you're going to leave the company, be it what happens when God forbid you dies, as in those small simple things are the ones that kill startups, or even guys try to strangle each other because they fail to agree on something they should have written down. So now that client, that business partner, we failed to agree because I started on marketing that business. We moved. I think we started making good money. They came, looked at the book. They were so excited. And I said, No, I've contacted my lawyers and they said if you don't put in money, you can't take more than 5% of the company. That's after I'd sweated for a very long time to bring the company to where it was. I feel cheated, and I say, you know what? It's okay. Let's leave the what? Let's leave the business. I'm out of here. Take 100% because already I saw the dispute in which. So those things are bound to happen. People who bring in, especially money, people especially money, tend to think that the guys who have brought in their sweet, don't deserve too much, too much of the shares, which is actually wrong because yes, you have the money, but you can't do all these things alone. So you need the other person's service. So the best way is to at least somehow quantify quantify the other person's sweet, sweet and experience and what and value it in terms of money. And again, write it down so that you don't have to. It should be of no question when the company stabilizes and maybe comes and it's better and it's doing well. So documentation, writing down and signing even on the simplest thing that you think your friendship can overcome. No, it will not overcome it. You get an investor along the way, and 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 uh, and terms will change, or you'll get huge sums of money along the way, and you start looking at each other with a bad eye because you think you've been working at a company 100%. Another guys have job somewhere else, and for them they come only on weekends. So, recording, giving, basically, do not trust your friendship in the business because it might go. So write everything down, and actually that will help you keep friends even when the business grows. So attracting talent, I have faced it, and I'm sure every startup is going to face it because the other person definitely must do what must survive also. So how do you attract that talent? Of course, you need to look around for guys who you share the same vision. Look around for guys or partners who you share the same vision, or partners who believe in your idea, that they are willing to go an extra mile with you, not someone who wants to come in and earn the following day. So I would rather you take your time on recruiting. Actually, you take your time on recruiting, but when you're firing or when you're letting them go, you let them go quickly so that you can move on to the what? Onto the next level. So it's okay. Take your time. I identify someone who has a belief as you, who is willing to go an extra mile with you. Have them join you, but in all this, have exit clauses or have uh, uh, sorry, I'm not going to divorce clauses in business. Have them clear. Yes, I've brought you in today because you believe in my idea, and once this thing goes well, you're going to get this percentage. Or on every client you get, you're going to get some amount of money. However, if you ever feel you want to leave, we shall calculate, and you will go in peace. You'll go in peace. As that, I'll have to give you an example. Because I would like startups not to kill each other. I want to give you an example of if you have uh, if you have a family someone who is a family doctor, your family doctor, but you started the business together. Along the way, you fail to agree as a business. Before you start, I'd like you to sign somewhere so that even if the business arrangement fails, or even if you fire each other as business partners, even if that happens, that same doctor should be able to treat your child in the night and you're not worried. How will that happen? You are going to write everything properly and how, in case this thing doesn't work out, how everyone parts or quits, especially if you want to safeguard the business, because the shareholders might go, but the business should be able to, to, to stay. So safeguard your business by writing exit clauses, by writing partnership clauses, by writing, of course, I could say there are many templates, because you might not have the money to to pay lawyers, but talk to your lawyer friends, or go online, read something. As you start, get the knowledge as a startup, which will help, which will enable your startup survive and not die in case the shareholders have issues. Put whatever documents you have in writing, so that if you fall out in business as a business partner, who is your family doctor, they should be able to take care of your child in the night when they get high temperature, and you won't worry simply because you dissolve your company, they are doing there. So it should be clear and black and white as you proceed.
Okay. You touched on something quite interesting regarding a company that had where they fell out because one wanted to be managing director, and that was something I'm not agreeing with. Maybe we could touch lightly on that power struggle and corporate governance of a company. At which point do you decide that, you know what, these guys are good as shareholders, but I think I now need officers in my company who will run the day-to-day of the company? When do you feel that? Is it a gut feeling? Is it that you learn from experience working with them? How, for instance, because we've seen this in a lot of other companies we've done work for, where someone can start their own company and people feel is not fit to be a managing director. Maybe they could be the CTO to handle the technical side of things, but maybe in finances and other related things, they are not that good. So how do you handle such scenarios and situations, and what would be your advice generally?
Yeah, thank you. Unfortunately, there is a lot of startup and founder syndrome, ego that comes with I've founded my company. You cannot come and give me advice, or you cannot come and boss me around in my own company. For example, I'll tell you, in my first companies, the ones which are actually lost, which died, I had, in course, I had all the money on me, so I would be the guy buying everything, paying everyone, that means I would spend both capital, I would spend capital and profit, as in it was a mambo jumbo. So even if I had someone managing accounts, and I just it's part time, and I also have a requisition to sign as an MD, that kind of humility would help a startup grow. But the fact that because the owner of the company is a sole signatory to the checkbook, the bank thinks that the company is what? All the money on the account is theirs. No. And the power struggles have killed companies, have killed very brilliant ideas, and guys fail to away because someone just wants to be a managing director, and he's underperforming, actually. He's underperforming, but he cannot go, and the better person is there doing nothing, would have done this work better. So how do you go about it? I think being honest and having candid talks with each other, and these candid talks are helped by numbers. If you say, what's our target this year as an MD? What's the target this year? Oh, what's your target? And then you say, oh, it's fine. You're supposed to do A, B, C, D, and we are going to review it in maybe 2 months. Let's have weekly meetings. If it's 5 minutes, let's have weekly meetings. and you update us on whatever you're doing or whatever is going on. Uh, but by an MD who is not performing, or for example, a finance guy who is not performing, won't tell you lies for 5 consecutive meetings. At the fifth meeting, he realizes he has been telling you lies for the last meetings, and he has nothing to lie about now. So when you say, by the way, from what we realize, we think you can handle PR better, or you can handle accounts better, or you can handle operations better. Can we give you the next quarter, please? Do ops, and let's how we, or maybe let's take you for a training so that you can up your game. But it all goes to humility. It all goes to humility. If everyone has a founder syndrome and thinks they cannot be bossed around, then definitely they will wake up when the company is gone, and maybe they will be sober and better in the next company they form.
Yeah.
But as a manager, taking a step back and evaluating yourself, and you listen to what people said in your meetings, is very critical, because you cannot, as a founder, you cannot have everything. That is why you need people around you. And once you bring them on board, don't suffocate them, don't bulldoze them. No, listen to their ideas. For once, sit back and relax. You can try it for a month and say, you know what, I've been doing everything. Let me sit back for a month and implement some of these ideas these guys are talking about. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. A good testimony is Jeff Bezos. Bezos will tell you most of the ideas come from employees. Most actually, those award-winning. Actually, I even mentioned that. Which one? Even mentioned that. No, I remember it. But most of the ideas that actually AWS,
Yeah.
Amazon Web Services, yes, AWS is an idea, and because he let staff he let staff brainstorm. He didn't bulldoze them because he knows he cannot be 100%. Maybe he's a good manager, but he's not good in some of the areas. And of course, us as, or maybe as startup founders, we spend much time in high level meetings. But these operations and the operations guys and maybe finance, they spend time surfing the market. They talk to clients every day, so they know where the pain points are. So when they tell you, please, we think that going forward, the direction of the company should focus on this because of ABCD. Listen, don't bulldoze your employees, don't bulldoze your fellow partners because you're the majority shareholder. Uh, let the ideas run. Sit back for once and listen and say, and think through what this guy is saying. What if they are right? Have that kind of what if these guys are right? It will help a startup, and it will help it will bring harmony in the company, and the company definitely will grow because guys will feel appreciated. You are the partners and employees, you feel appreciated.
Well, one of the things that you've talked about quite a bit with investors, and I would like to shift a bit on finance because we've talked about talent and so on. But finance still remains a big bit of the success of a technology company, because you're spending quite a lot, even after you've gone through market validation, running a tech company, you have all this expensive talent. You have a lot of overheads that probably might come up, depending on what space you're in. One of the biggest challenges that we found is investors, majority of them ask for what you just mentioned, validation. Is this working? And then when you compare this with other markets, there's a lot of patient capital flying around where someone will just even give you money when you're nothing, and then they keep throwing it at you until you grow. There are such markets as well. We won't go into comparisons right now. How do you think the financing space in Uganda and much of East Africa should evolve? Is there hope that there will be change? And even with COVID coming in now, we are wondering how the deals are going to look like. What is your suggestion moving forward? Should the founder hope for a time when things might change, or should they change how they think entirely and just build their businesses?
Okay, thank you so much. And even okay, even before COVID, I've seen organizations or organizations that are willing to fund or that have been created in Uganda to prepare funders or to prepare local startups for funding. You could look at the innovation village. You could look at Kane at Kampala Angel, I think Network, and maybe a few. And well, that's good. But there are still few, but there is will. There are some people who are now starting to prepare startups for funding. But the startup, I really wouldn't advise the startup that let your motive be to get funding. No, I would love that the motive of the startup be solving a problem. Because once you solve a problem, a right problem, you're going to get clientele. When you get clientele and your traction starts growing and you keep your books very well. By the way, when I talk of keeping books, some people think hiring audit firms. No, even the smallest of accounting, even if it's 1,000 shillings, how have you been able to account for your 1,000 shillings? You know, and once your company is in order, you'll even see investors knocking at your door, even you without looking for them, because they have also seen. I'll give an example. They've also seen a beautiful girl, or they've seen a very promising company, because they also have surveyors around. They also have guys who they send to survey nice companies. So you receive an email. Oh, by the way, can we talk about this? So I would rather you focus on building your company from scratch, and along the way, investors are going to find you. But when you begin day one focusing on investor, you're going to make a few mistakes, and you're going to forgo some things because you want to amuse or appease an investor who's not it right there, but you want maybe to appeal to them. Then you might forego some real fundamentals of your company. So I would rather advise or employ, yes, investors are going to come, but just assume there's no investor. At the start, build your company on a solid ground, assuming there's no investor. Then they are going to come because they're going to find a solid company. Yeah, you also mentioned that there is funding from guys just fund an idea, they pump money into you, yeah. I've not seen so much of it here. Maybe Silicon Valley guys can those are they are there. So in Uganda, particularly in Africa, they are not very many. So you must prove to the investor that you are worth investing in, and that can only happen when you don't focus on the investor, but you focus on growing your business. So focus on growing your business, go through all the fundamentals. Uh, then the investor is going to find you at a point when you can talk with confidence, and you don't have to have 1,000 users or clients. No, an investor can even invest in you when you have 10 or 20 clients, but having seen the confidence you built in your company, or how you've grown your company, fundamentally, the fundamentals, uh, and you will not have, actually, when you don't look for investors, you'll come. When you try to build your company using the basic principles you hustle through, you see investors come to help you scale. But the moment you say, let me drop an idea and send out emails for investors, yes, you'll get a few responses, but uh, you focus much more on getting money as opposed to growing your company. Uh, there are investors who would want you to have, for example, a female member on the directors, So, and because you want to appease the investor, you quickly look for a female on your team who is not properly vetted, but for the sake, because you're supposed to send to an investor, then you want to get a wrong partner because you must get someone. So you want to go through a time of vetting and proving them that they are in for it. Then you'll see a company break along there because the person they got rushing is the one who's not right off fit for the what for the company. So yes, look for money, but first your company must be solid and sound.
Oh, powerful message there. The last question, before we allow our guests to ask, is a two-part. The first one is on pivoting. Pivoting can be a very dangerous period for a startup. How would you navigate that, especially if maybe it has not been encouraged by an investor, you're still figuring out your model? How do you handle the pivoting process? And then out of that, the other question would be, what new structures, what are the emerging trends that you're looking at that would help companies grow? We've explored certain models with some clients that are reincorporating elsewhere for tax purposes and other benefits. What other models do you think are out there? And if you've heard of those, how well do they work?
Okay. What was the first question, please?
The first one was on pivoting.
Pivoting, okay.
Yeah, pivoting can be a dangerous process because you're trying, everything has failed that you've been trying for the last time, for the last so many years or months. Now you want to try out something new, or you're changing your business in such a way that it has not been operating formally. How would you navigate that process? How do you handle it? Especially when you don't have funding and you're still thinking about these things. Then the other one was emerging trends that are assisting companies grow. And then I gave an example. We are seeing some founders quickly request for incorporations elsewhere and other avenues. What other emerging trends do you see that founders can use in structures to build their companies?
To pivoting, not once, not twice, yeah, because as when to turn, but when to pivot. But you see, you don't just pivot. There must be fundamental facts that you're basing on to pivot. For example, I need to tell you that for us, we had built our platform focusing the wrong client. When we started, when we now made customer discovery calls, we realized the pain point was at a different person. So we had to pivot our model of marketing, even the platform itself, yeah. But of course, in pivoting, it comes with the cost. Pivoting comes with the cost because you might need to get a new platform, for example, or you might need to change your models, all the models, which is one painful, but it's a sign of growth. As in, it's a step in the overcome that pain because I have the end in mind, well knowing, let me pivot because at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do at this moment and make mistakes before you pivot. And like any business, it's like a baby. You crawl, you fall, you start running, you fall a bit. Sometimes you fall in the mud, but the beauty or the success lies in those guys who stand up, dust themselves, and move forward. Falling is going to be there. Pivoting, you might even make a mistake in pivoting. Let that also be a pivot. Pivot it and move. It's a growth. It's a growth thing. And if it's going to take you to in a better direction as a company, better pivot early pivot forward and enjoy the hustle. It's a hard hustle, but enjoy it. It's a sign of growth, I think, and the sign of maturity that you matured and known that actually you don't have to stick to something which is not working. You know, it's a dead horse, please. It's a dead horse. Let's pivot, turn it around, and take a company forward. But it must be a company research for startups. They think of hiring firms, the PwCs of this world. No, startup, you have a list of your 100 clients. You have the financials for the last year. Get your Excel sheet. Look at this, there's YouTube, listen to some videos, get some guys to mentor you. So don't think of PwC, don't think of these auditing companies of this world, big ones. No, amongst yourselves, amongst your peers, there is someone who can, or even 20 guys can help you think through a business. I'll give you an example. We were at some business talk show, and one of the panelists said his company was dying. It's now a big company. It's a soft drink company in Uganda. But he said because he was at a point where he couldn't manage it alone, he called his friends, took them to, I think, Munyonyo for a whole week. He said, I'm going to pay you because I'm going to pay for your accommodation. Please reserve this week for me. Let's go for a week and split my business completely and give me a solution. That's the heart of an entrepreneur. That's the heart of someone who has no ego. That's the heart of someone who is willing to power out his fellow friends, so they can give him candid feedback and help him build the business. Right now, the business was doing very well, but because he was willing to listen, he was willing to spend some little money on his friends, but it takes willingness and being alert as an entrepreneur to know I can't manage this alone. Let me get friends who can help me. Please drop your ego, or else your company will die. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I don't see any other questions. I would like us to end here. And for those of you who have joined us today, more of these talks will be found at the Next.Legal Summit. You can register at this link that is now in the chat. We look forward to the next one. Thank you, Dickson, and have a very good afternoon.
All right. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.